Hello, and welcome to the Rabe Creations Crochet Podcast. My name's Nicole, and I'm coming to you from Calgary, Alberta, here where I live with my husband Barry, my beautiful, wonderful rescued Rottweiler named Grace, and my soon-to-be grandbaby girl. See, I did the announcement right off the top. We got the confirmation that Riley, my son Riley, and his fiance Dayton are going to be having a baby girl, and we are thrilled. So, needless to say, there has been a lot of crocheting and other crafty goodness that has been focused on my new grandbaby to be. Pretty excited. All right, well, I guess I should start off by saying welcome. Hello to all my returning subscribers. It is so very nice to see you again. And to anybody who is a recent subscriber, thank you so much. It's nice to see our little community growing. It's good to see you here. And finally, if you've just happened to stumble across this as your first Rabe Creations podcast, welcome. So today's podcast is going to deal primarily with crochet. Next week will be my next floss tube. So I alternate back and forth between my two preferred crafts. And sometimes other things slip into both of those podcasts. So today is April the 30th, the last day of April. What happened there? I don't know if anybody else is feeling it, but it seems rather odd that in a time where most of us are experiencing some sort of shutdown of social life, that time is going so quickly. I would have thought that this time would be dragging on and on and on. And in reality, April was gone like that. I can't believe that it's the last day of April and that we've been in this lockdown situation here in Calgary for, I believe it's 50-ish days now. 50 days of no shopping. Of no haircuts, of just social isolation. It's very odd indeed. We are living in strange times, my friends. I think the biggest thing I'm starting to go, about is the fact that my son is getting married in, well, about 2.5 weeks. This is going to be the scruffiest looking wedding I've ever been to. First of all, in compliance with the orders of our health professionals here in Alberta, we can have a maximum of 10 people at the gathering as long as we're maintaining social distancing. So it's going to be really odd because everybody's going to be really spread out. It's just going to be a small civil service in my son's backyard. So there's going to be myself and my husband, the Dayton, his fiance, her mom and dad, the best man, who happens to be my other son, and Dayton's sister, who is going to be the maid of honor, and the bride and groom. And that's all. So it's going to be very, very small. Like I said before, they are going to do a renewal of their vows and a party once all of these restrictions have been lifted. And you know what? I thought, okay, just a small little civil ceremony in the backyard. Not a big to-do. I get it. I can't get my hair cut. I can't even go out and buy a dress. Yeah. It's going to be a scruffy looking wedding, but we'll make up for it at the renewal and the reception when we can be all spiffy and dressed to the nines and not looking like like we can't get a haircut or buy any new clothes. Who'd have thunk that this would ever happen, right? All right, enough of this rambling on. Before we get into the crochet, I would just like to remind you that if you do enjoy the content that you see here, please remember to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't done it already, give me a thumbs up. Heck, give me a comment down below. I do read them all. One of the things I've noticed, I don't know if any of you other YouTube channel creators are experiencing this too, but I am no longer seem to be getting notifications from YouTube when someone comments on my video. I do find out when somebody reacts to a comment that I've made, but I'm not getting notification of comments on my videos. So if you happen to comment and not get an answer from me, please, please, please don't think that I'm ignoring you. Don't think that I don't care. I do. I care about you all very deeply. It's just that I'm not getting notifications. So unless I go back and check the comments section on each of the videos, I don't find out that people have commented. And I only just figured this out a couple of days ago. So please, please bear with me. I am trying to respond to everybody's comments. And if you ever have any questions, within reason, feel free to ask them down below and I will try and answer them to the best of my ability. Alrighty, you're here for the crochet. So let's get on with the crochet, shall we? First up will be a finished object. I do have one finished to share with you today. I have two works in progress to share with you today. A little teeny weeny bit of a haul and a little teeny weeny shop update, and that'll be it. So let's get right into it, starting out with one finished object. I should let you know. Beverage of the day is bubbly sparkling water. 0 calories, 0 sugar, cherry flavored. It's very tasty. Haven't opened it yet. I'm going to open it now. Please excuse the tss. There we go. I really like those. They're a flavored sparkling water, but they're not sweetened, so it's right up my alley. Love them. Alrighty, so on to the crochet, because that's what you're here for. So I showed this as a work in progress, and now I'm showing it as a finished object, because that is how these things are supposed to progress. So this is the raised diamonds blanket pattern that I shared with you last time, and I have done it into a baby sized blanket. It'd be great for tummy time because it's nice and solid. I did add a border, and the border was not part of the pattern or the tutorial that I followed on YouTube. I'll link everything below. So the blanket itself was a YouTube tutorial by Blossom Crochet, I believe, here on the YouTube, and very easy to follow. This is not the yarn that she used. She used more of a baby blanket yarn, and I just used a regular size 4 acrylic. I believe it might have been one of those big jumbo balls of Impeccable that you can get. And then I bordered it in Impeccable as well, in this nice light gray color. I did a row all the way around the blanket in a double crochet. Then I did an additional row in a single crochet, and then I did one final row with this picot border that I kind of sort of made up as I went. I really like how this one has turned out. It is going to go actually into my stock for my winter markets. I am holding out hope that the winter markets will go forward. I am stockpiling my merchandise for my fall and winter markets, and this will go in with the winter goods. I do have to say, though, I am really, really, really glad that I talked myself off the ledge earlier this year. I was playing with the idea of doing some spring markets this year. I've done spring markets before and did not do well with them. But I thought, you know, the last couple of markets I've done have been really, really successful. You know, things are starting to turn around. Maybe people are starting to appreciate more the handmade goods. Maybe I'm just getting my marketing down better. But then I thought to myself, you know what? Definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. The spring markets have never been good for me. So you know what, I thought, you know, I'm just not going to. I'm going to concentrate on fall and winter. And I am now so glad I did. Now, most of the markets that have been canceled due to COVID-19 have, you know, the organizers are very understanding people, and they are refunding people's entry fees. So it's not that I would be out the cost of the table fee, but what I would be out of is my materials costs, and I would have a stockpile of merch that aren't going to sell at fall and winter markets, and I'd be stuck with it. So, you know, thank goodness for insight, and thank goodness that I managed to make the right choice there. As far as I know, my fall and winter markets should still be a go. They don't start until the end of September, so it should, fingers crossed, we should have our, hopefully this all been lifted by that point. I sure hope so. Yeah, I am continuing to stockpile that merchandise. And you know what? If worse comes to worse, knock wood, and those shows get canceled, I know I will do fall and winter again in 2021. So it's not like that those goods are going to be wasted. I know I will continue to do fall and winter markets for the foreseeable future. So I'm not worried about that. And this blanket, long story short, this blanket will be a part of my winter stock. And if you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I'm doing sort of a cabin cozy theme. My colors are sort of blacks and reds, grays, whites, a little bit of green thrown in. So definitely have a color palette that I'm working with, but I'm not necessarily massing out just one or two patterns. I'm doing a variety of patterns, just all in the same color palette, so it all goes together. All right, so let us move on to what I am currently working on. All right, so I should let you know that I have my window open, so you may be hearing some outside noises, and it does look like we might be getting some rain this afternoon. I am happy to report that it does feel like spring has arrived in Calgary. Yay! The sun has been out for the past couple of days. We've had no hints, knock wood again, of snow. Things have dried out quite nicely. And today's the first day that it looks like we might be getting some rain. So it hasn't been hot out. Today is sort of the nicest day at about, 16, 17 degrees. So, I mean, it's not hot, but it's definitely nice enough to sit out on the deck and enjoy a cup of coffee or eat lunch, which my husband and I have been doing most every day, eating lunch on the deck. All right, so on to some works in progress. So let us start out with this one. I have one project on the go for me and one project on the go for my new grandbaby. And her name is going to be Hazel, by the way. So I have one project on the go for Hazel and one project on the go for me. I will show you the for me piece first. So the piece I am making is coming out of this magazine. It is Crochet Scene, and it was a display until October 15th, 2018. So it's a little bit older. It is a from the publishers of Interweave Crochet, so another magazine. And this special issue was brought to me in part by Jimmy Beans. So that's all the marketing from the front of the magazine to share with you. So what am I making? I've marked the page, and I am making this little scarf. Something fairly lightweight and lacy that I can use some of my fingering weight yarn on. That isn't socks. Looking for projects using up some of my multiple balls of fingering weight yarn. And this is lacy enough to be a summer piece, so a summer accent piece. The scarf is called the Ginger Scarf, and it's designed by Beth Major. Now, the yarn that they've suggested is a Sweet Georgia Merino Silk lace weight. That's not what I'm using because I am hooking from stash. So this is the yarn I'm using. It is an unknown. I've lost the ball band. I know it is a fingering weight and it is a hand dyed. I believe it came as part of a sock set, but I can't be sure, but I think it did. I was doing up a pair of socks, and that's why you can see it's all crinkly. I had been doing a pair of socks, and it became a UFO, an unfinished object, an abandoned project. I did not like how the sock pattern was working up. So I thought, well, you know what, that's a waste of good yarn. So I pulled out the 3/4 of a sock that I had done, rolled up all the yarn back into balls, and then decided to move forward. So the scarf is going to be made with this, and it is sort of a speckle, and it's really kind of neat. It's gray, quite mellow, and then it's got these really bright bursts of neon almost color, which is a little out of my wheelhouse, as you will know if you've been here for a while. So I am alternating that with rows of this orange, and I do believe that this was the sock set. I just can't remember who the dyer was. But then I also went diving in my mini skeins, and I found these, and I thought they would all work as well. So I am looking at doing some alternating color stripes. So this is sort of the color palette that I am using, and I think they'll all look quite nice together. I am doing this up using a 3mm hook. And this is what I've got done so far. So the pattern itself is a repeating lace pattern. I wonder if I have something that I can hold this up against. Ooh, the baby blanket. Hold on. So it is a repeating lace pattern, and I believe it is a 6 or 7 row repeat. Well, this is one full repeat. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 row. It's an 8 row repeat. So what I've done is I've done 2 repeats in the variegated colorway, then 1 repeat in the solid orange. Then I'm working on my second 2 repeats of the variegated colorway. And that's where I'm not sure where to go from there. So I don't know whether I should use all of the colors and do, you know, the next stripe in, say, yellow, and then 2 more of this, and the next stripe in green, and then 2 more of this, and the next stripe in red, and then 2 more of this, and then back to the beginning. Or whether I should do it so that it goes, you know, variegated orange, variegated, say, yellow, variegated green, variegated red, variegated red, variegated green. So whether it should count in and then count back out, which would make it so that when you're wearing the scarf, the ends would both be the orange stripe and the middle would be one of the other colors. I don't know if I should use all of the colors. I'm sort of winging it, as you can tell. But if you have an opinion, if you think of a way that this would work in your mind, let me know down below. Let me know what you think of the different color stripes and whether I should use them all, just use some, do it, you know, as say orange, or orange, yellow, green, red, orange, yellow, green, red, or whether it should be orange, yellow, green, red, red, green, orange. Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm looking for opinions. Oh, and I have to share this beautiful little stitch marker. It looks like mermaid scales. And I got this from Heather at HG Crochet over in the UK. I won a giveaway of hers. Oh, must be going on 2 years now. But that is the stitch marker that I won from her. So that is my first of 2 works in progress. And like I said, if you have any thoughts on the color striping sequence, whether it should be color striped at all, whatever, if you have any opinions, let me know in the comment box down below. I would love to hear your thoughts on that pattern. It is a lot of fun to work up. I do find I have to keep the pattern close to me. I don't know, an eight row repeat is a little much for me to remember. As soon as I read it though, I know what I have to do, but I do find myself having to refer back to the pattern. That may be my old addled brain. All right, so my next work in progress is for my sweet grandbaby. It is well, it will be a dress when it's completed. And here it is. Isn't that beautiful yarn? So this is more hand-dyed yarn out of my stash. The pattern that I'm following is a tutorial on YouTube by Wooly Wonders Crochet. She also has an Etsy shop where you can purchase her patterns. I did have a few problems with this pattern, and it's odd because I've never had a problem with one of her patterns before, with it working up way too big, following her exact directions. I am using a fingering weight yarn. Oh, and I forgot to grab the other one. I'm going to grab the other one with the ball band. Hold, please. I'm back. So it is hand-dyed yarn by the Fiber Goddess. There is the ball band. The yarn itself is an 80% superwash BFL, so blue-faced, blue-faced Leicester, and 20% nylon. It is a 2-ply, 400 yards in 100 grams. And this is a Canadian dyer. Yes, and I got this from a fiber show probably about a year ago. The colorway is called I Can Kill You With My Brain. Odd, I know. It is a quote from River from Firefly. So she does a lot of pop culture references in her yarn dyeing. And I really fell in love with this, I call it grubby pink type of a colorway. And this is how it is working up in the little dress. So as I was saying, my tale of woe, this is the 3rd time I've attempted to make this little piece. The first time I made it, didn't even finish the yoke, and I realized, whoa Nelly, this is going to be humongous. So I pulled it all back and went for a smaller hook size. And I got to about where I'm at now and had to concede that it was still way too big. So I pulled it all out And third time lucky, third time's the charm. This is more the size that I was anticipating for the dress. Still a little bit bigger than I would have hoped, but you know what? Babe's going to be born in September, so, you know, by midwinter, when she could really use sort of a warm, very warm, natural fibered piece, this will fit her at that point. I'm just really, really in love with this colorway. I'll need a couple of buttons for the back. So the back starts out split. I'll need a couple of buttons for the back. And then the dress, I don't know how well you can see the pattern, but you can see these little lines that go down here, these little skipped spaces. They are all the way around the dress, 16 spaces between the little lines, and then that goes down, and then at the bottom those lines become triangles to finish off at the bottom. So it really is a cute pattern. Very basic construction. Like I said, the only issue I was having was with the size that it was coming out, but I was able to fandangle myself down, and I ended up working with a 2.5 millimeter hook, and that seems to be giving me good tightness of the stitches. I don't mind that. They're not too gapey, and a much better size than what was happening before. The stitch marker on this says 0 fox given, and that is another stitch marker that I picked up at a fiber show, I believe, again, about 2 years ago here in Calgary in the spring. But yeah. So that is my second work in progress. So that is all of the crochet that I have to share with you today. So if you'd care to stick around just a little bit longer, I do have a wee tiny bit of haul to share with you and a teeny tiny little shop update. So I will collect my things together and be right back. All right, so starting out with a little bit of haul. Now, for those of you who have been around for a while, you will know that I do have an Etsy shop, and within that Etsy shop, I carry bags. I sew up project bags of varying sizes and styles for both cross-stitch and crochet. But with the recent health crisis that has affected the globe, I switched my making to masks. I didn't list any masks in my Etsy shop because I couldn't keep up with the masks that I was being asked to make just by word of mouth. So I haven't listed anything in the Etsy shop, but I have been making masks like a madwoman. I did talk about this last time, I believe. And it became very apparent to me as I was trying to fulfill mask orders. Now, people weren't able to pick their patterns, but they were able to specify gender. I was trying to be kind with my fabric choices so that if a man was requesting one of my masks, he wasn't getting something floral. But it became apparent to me rather quickly that I am sadly lacking in manly print cottons. So I had to go online to rectify that situation. So I did have an order come in, and I'll share with you the fabric that I have purchased. So started out with this one, which is a hockey print, but a rather subdued hockey print. It doesn't necessarily correspond with any one team, just with the game itself. So there is hockey print. This is all ordered online through Etsy, through a fabric supplier called Becks Fabric, out of, they're a Canadian supplier, and I've ordered from them before. I will order from them again. Very quick delivery, very professional shop. So this is the next pattern that I ordered, and it is all about fly fishing. And finally, the last piece of fabric that I ordered in is this one here. And again, nice subtle colors. And it is barber shop type stuff. So it's got scissors and little straight razors on it. So I figured those were 3 manly prints. If I get any more requests for men's masks, I have something to work with. And if not, I can make up some less feminine project bags. And finally, the last piece of fabric I ordered because I really couldn't resist it. I think it's absolutely beautiful and totally up my alley, is this one right here. So it is little pocket watches. They do have florals on them, so it makes it slightly less manly. But I really, really, really was attracted to this print. So I got some of this one as well. And this will definitely become some project bags in the shop. Oh, you can probably hear that. I believe that is an airplane going right overhead. Bask in the sound. Alrighty, so that is my teeny tiny haul. I did not get any yarn this week, although my stockpile of acceptable colors for my fall and winter markets is starting to dwindle. So if these restrictions don't open up soon, I am going to have to do some online yarn ordering. Now, I don't have an issue with ordering yarn online from, indie dyers. I do it all the time. That's where the majority of my fingering weight yarn has come from, but I have never really put in an order for the yarn that I could just get at the big box store. I just go and get it at the big box store, but right now that is really, really difficult to do. So I may have to place an order, and I have found a couple actually of Canadian suppliers that I am considering trying out, and if I have success, I will share them with you here on this channel for any fellow Canadians out there, because you know what? We are being nailed with our exchange rates right now, and yeah, if we can possibly avoid some of those exchange rates, that'd be great. Right now, the Canadian dollar is only at about 71 cents US, so yeah, that means that everything we're purchasing from the US, we're paying an additional 30% for, plus shipping. Ouch. So yeah, it's much nicer to try and find something within Canada, because it's not like the Canadian prices have gone up. It's just that our dollar is weak compared to the American dollar right now. So I'm looking for some Canadian solutions, both for acrylic, sort of that big box style yarn, and for yarn blanks. I had been ordering most of my bare yarn from Knit Picks to dye up with my natural dyeing, and unfortunately, again, Knit Picks being based in the US, their prices were great before, and they haven't raised their prices, but our dollar has fallen, and ouch. Yeah, just ouch. I can't afford to buy that yarn and dye it and sell it, because I can't make any profit on it. And, as much as I love to give, I also have to have a bit of an income. So yeah, until I can find a more cost-effective solution, the dyeing may have to slow down a bit. But speaking of dyeing, I do have a small shop update to share with you. A couple of skeins that I put through the dye pot earlier this week and came out amazingly well. So I wanted to share those with you. Yeah, let's do that now. So yesterday I did a shop update. So if you're looking for me on Etsy, my shop is Rabe Creations on Etsy, and I have it linked below. Feel free to click on that link, come check me out, see what you think. But I did a shop update yesterday, putting in about 10 skeins, I believe it was 10, of my hand-dyed yarn. Majority of it was fingering, although there was a bit of sport weight that went in as well. And I just thought I would share with you my latest dye pot creations, and that is these two here. So this one has already sold, so I'm not going to take it out of its wrapping because I have to get that shipped off tomorrow. So this is a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon. There's 462 yards to the 100 grams, so it is a fingering weight. And these were hand dyed in my kitchen using onion skins. So these ones came out significantly more orange, more of a deep yellow than the other onion skin experimentation that I did. So this is the skein unwound. It has some nice lighter spots, some darker spots. I have been trying to play around a little bit with dyeing techniques that I see acid dyers using, but using my natural dyes. And I am kind of liking some of these effects that I'm getting. So as I said, this is the skein that is still currently listed. It is, the other one has sold already. But yeah, I am quite pleased with how this turned out. I love this color. I love the variation in the color. I think this will knit or crochet up very, very nicely. It is super soft. Yeah, I'm really pleased with how this turned out. So if you're interested in this colorway or just checking out what I have to offer, come on over to the Etsy shop and take a peek. There's quite a bit of avocado in there right now. Let me see what else. I'm looking down here because that's where it's all stored. I would say the majority is avocado, couple of onion, some acorn. So there's a few, some black bean in there. So there's a few neat ones to take a peek at. Alrighty. I think that's all I have for you today. Thank you for dropping by. Thank you for spending some of your crafty time with me. Please, please, please take some time for yourself. Make sure that you're reaching out to friends and loved ones, even if it is just virtually. Make those phone calls, send those text messages, send those emails. We need to remember to reach out. We are alone, but we're not. We're isolated, but we're not alone. Let's put it that way. Make sure that you're kind to each other. Take that extra time to smile, acknowledge people in the streets. Just saying good morning when you're walking by someone it just makes everyone feel less tense. I've seen people putting up amazing words of inspiration in their windows on my walks every day. Yeah, just keep reaching out to each other. Be kind to each other. Choose kindness in all things, and the world will be a much better place. All right. It'll be 2 weeks before I see you again with a crochet chat. But if you would like to check out my floss tube, so my videos that concentrate on cross stitch, be sure to join me next week when I will be posting my next floss tube episode. All right, until then, take care of yourselves, take care of each other. We'll talk to you soon. Bye now.